Hello, and welcome to the Untitled InfoSec podcast.
Расцветали яблони и груши, поплыли туманы над рекой. Выходила на берег Катюша на высоком.
Thank you for finding that, Autumn. That was wonderful for an intro. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another Untitled InfoSec podcast, coming to you live from Portland, Oregon, and other places. With us today, we have Nathan, Autumn, Frank, and Jason. Why don't you all introduce yourselves? Start, Autumn.
Oh, I'm Jason. Oh, go ahead.
Oh,
Go ahead, Jason.
what do you start? Talk, people, talk!
Okay, my name's Autumn. I'm a journalist. I'm transgender. Hey, how's it going?
Excellent. Jason, who are you?
I'm Jason Stone. I'm being a bad Orthodox Jew by being on the computer on Shabbos, but that's me.
Excellent. And Nathan?
I'm just a kind of arbitrary troublemaker hanging out. Maybe gonna say some incendiary stuff. Not sure.
All right.
Welcome to the
Yay!
club.
And all right. So today I thought we'd start by, this past week has been kind of a shit show for InfoSec. There have been tons of breaches. Everything from the Epic breach, which was a little more than a week ago now, which we kind of covered last cast, to this new one from Twitch. This one's actually rather interesting.
Shit hacked out of them.
Cool. Okay, the Twitch one, which actually included all the data about how much they're paying out to all these big Twitch stars, as well as other data in that breach, which I haven't even gone through it, honestly. But we have a bunch of articles on it that we can look at real quick. We're not going to do what we do in Iron Geek Cast, where I sit there and read articles, because apparently people hate that. So,
I love it.
you're the only one, man. Only one.
Oh, wow.
So we're just going to skim them, maybe.
The story of my life.
Well, I like being read to, too. Last night, as I was falling asleep, Autumn was reading me bedtime stories by Christopher Hitchens, and it was very nice.
Say that name again.
Hitchens.
Oh,
He is a very hitchy guy.
was
What else?
awesome.
Yeah, it was fun. Yeah, so this Twitch breach had like a bunch of data that's somewhat sensitive, I would say. I mean, it's not like they lost credit card info or anything, but they did lose a lot of personal info about their user base, which I'm sure the users are not all thrilled about. And if you were to just do like a quick Google search for Twitch right now, and then go to the news tab, you're going to see all sorts of shit about it, which I will do. And you know what they say? Do it live. So that's what we're going to do.
Live.
I'm going to do it live. So let's share a tab and see how this goes. I'm going to share screen. I don't want to share the whole screen. I want to share a Chrome tab, just one tab. It'll be new tab, and we're going to clear that.
we should have Bill
You guys-
O'Reilly on here someday.
Right? Well, his
All right.
career is tanked, so it'll probably be on here easily. Like,
Yeah.
yes, somebody wants to hear from me.
All right, it's this tab. All right, so all you got to do is just type Twitch, right? Twitch, boom, and then we're going to go news. Let's see what there is to see. So Jeff Bezos is getting plastered over Twitch for some reason with a meme of him with his essentially shocked Pikachu face, right? Twitch was one of those services that was likely hosted on AWS, which is probably why that meme is around. This pretty ASMR girl was banned off Twitch for some reason. I don't really care why. And how much money does Hassan make? Well, I don't know who Hassan is, but I assume he's a
Hassan Piker.
Oh, that political guy? All right. Don't care. But Twitch has confirmed it's been hacked. Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Everybody's known that for like 3 days. Here we go.
He just bought a $3 million house. He's a fucking communist.
Yeah, they defaced the streaming service with a picture of Jeff Bezos for some reason. That's pretty funny. Okay. We also got
Will YouTube ban us if we say communism is bad?
communism is bad. I don't think
Yeah, it's
anything is
horrible.
bad. Nothing can
Socialism,
be bad.
communism, same thing.
Oh yeah. Okay, there's an update to this one. So, part 1 was posted on 4chan. It's an extreme. It's got some interesting info in it. Wow, Jason, you gotta mute your mic while you're sharpening your knives. Otherwise, people are gonna
Oh,
lose
sorry.
their birds. Okay. Calling Twitch a disgusting, toxic cesspool is the given motivation for this leak, is to foster more disruption and competition in the online video streaming space. This is a working torrent, and there is data in it. I have not gone through it myself yet. The leaked data is reportedly information on Vapor, Amazon's rumored rival to Steam. This is a different breach. No, it's not. Okay. More information will likely come to light as the leak is poured over. This becomes do better Twitch as a trending hashtag now, which is funny. The hacker said on 4chan, Jeff Bezos paid $970 million for this, and we're giving it away for free. Yeah, so Twitch was hacked, and the most interesting data is probably that Twitch salary leak list, right? That's what people really care about, and I believe Adrian had said that somebody actually even put up a website with all that data that they had like parsed through it, made it pretty. This is obviously not it, but I bet I could find it real quick without having to bother him. Yeah, Twitch leaks, man. Twitch leaks. I digress. Nobody really cares anyway. But some of these bastards make a lot of money, which I'm surprised at because, like, I like money. I have a little. I keep it in a jar above my refrigerator. I'd like more, and that's where you come in. No? Nobody? All right.
No.
Excellent. No. All right. Like, apparently you guys don't like, Adam Sandler quotes from excellent movies. But someone hack Iron Geek Studios so we can see how much Adrian pays Frank. Dude, I wish Adrian paid me. He pays me in love, and not like the kind that Autumn does.
I have something we could look at. It's about the Democratic full panel. Democratic negotiations are, quote, a great example of power in politics.
Yeah. Read it.
No, I sent you the link.
All right, one sec. Okay. This is a YouTube video? This is a USA Today panel. I don't want to watch this. What's going on in crypto, Nathan? Anything interesting other than the people stealing cryptocurrency from exchanges all the time?
Yeah, I got a huge bummer of a situation going on. I was hired by this group to put on a conference in Miami in early November, and there was the travel restrictions. They're worried about attendance not being met and stuff like that. And just out of nowhere, the other day, they just pulled the plug.
Wow.
So I'm sitting on a completely organized conference. I don't even think most of the speakers know it's been canceled yet.
Holy shit.
Yeah, we had Sam Tripoli, the comic, lined up as the MC. It's a bastard. So basically,
is there any way you can find another venue?
Venue is not too big of a deal. I basically just have to. There were some decisions made by people on their team that made the event very cost inhibitive, and by changing venues to a non-union location where we don't have to use their in-house catering service and stuff like that, we're going to be able to do it for about a third of the price. So I pretty much gave myself a goal of I need to come up with this magical number in sponsorships by Monday, and if I do, I'll go on with the show myself.
Did you
If I
talk
don't,
to Erica? She's got a huge network out there.
uh, I would love to do it. I mean, I had one of the people organizing it with me, Tatiana. She went and toured a nice venue down in Miami, and she showed me on camera, but it was just pretty shitty quality. But it hosts it'll seat about 450 people, and I was like, okay, 400 people, we could pull that. Miami's like a really big crypto city and all that. So yeah, so we have a potential venue. I just need to come up with this magic number by Monday. So
Wow.
Yeah.
Whatever you think the number should be, and add an extra 20% just in case of, shit
well,
happening.
the number is extraordinarily low, but also does not account for. See, the number's low because this is what it will take to make it happen on those bare bones.
Sorry.
Okay, so who exactly canceled it?
It was Komodo. It was they used to use privacy stuff, the ZK snarks from Zcash, and it was kind of, I don't want to call
The
it
browser
snark
Komodo or the security software Komodo or another
the
Komodo.
blockchain.
Oh, the blockchain
Komodo.
Komodo. Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
And they
So,
just canceled their sponsorship of the conference, or?
Well, no. I guess you could say they were the main sponsor. They were paying for it. There were some little internal things where the marketing team was kind of doing some stuff that nobody really knew about, and that kind of caused a couple troubles, little problems. They put a release on the website. It was blockren.com, but yeah, there were just some organizational issues. I mean, I don't know if you helped Adrian when he was putting together the Who's Your Hacker Con.
I was trying to. I don't think I really helped much, but I did offer my services, and I got access to all the stuff. Yeah.
When you get into these bigger cities and stuff, and you have to bring in unions to do all your power drops and data drops and stuff like that, it just makes the event very labor intensive to set up and extraordinarily expensive. So
Yeah.
it was a huge problem. And then I did that crypto shit show all around the country, and I've always used garbage venues. It's A, because I self-sabotage, but B, also some really, really good security research was debuted at my shows, but they're very small shows, and I want it to be like, this is seeing Slayer in some basement club in 1985. That's the goal I'm going for. No frills or anything like that. And the thing is I want to give that experience, but also I don't want to spend any money. I don't have any money for this shit, so I do it that way.
Well, that's an interesting thing that I noticed is that with schools, right? They're always talking about they need more money for this and more money for that. And I was at synagogue one day, and all the rabbi had was literally a book, and he just taught from there. You know what I mean? You can show and teach stuff and transfer information. You don't need a whole bunch of money and all that.
No, without a doubt.
Stuff.
So
you just need the person with open-minded.
Even organizing all the material, right? I wanted to make sure that people were going to come and show up, so I went really technical content rich, lots of workshops and demos. But the people that do workshops and demos aren't big names, so I had to entice people with a couple big names, and then put in all these workshops and demos. And then the appeal that I wanted to make was to have every city get a little money together and send out whoever does their meetup, so they come down and they can learn how to build a hardware wallet and bring that back, and the dice entropy stuff and everything else, and bring all this stuff back and really share the knowledge. Crypto is a very, very, very sad state of affairs, and just economics in general are horrible with the $1 trillion coin, and they want to do surveillance on any bank account with $600 and taxing unrealized
horrible.
gain.
If they pass that $3.3 trillion infrastructure bill, we're screwed. There's so much stuff bad going to happen.
Right, because there's so much pork in there that screws
the
with
size
everyday
of the
people.
IRS. Dude, it's a 4,000 page bill. They haven't even read it.
Yeah, there's a shit ton of pork in it,
It's
and most of it doesn't have
insane.
anything to do with infrastructure. I get that you're going to call it human infrastructure so you can sneak it into the bill, but there's like, what the hell does roads is infrastructure, bridges infrastructure. What the hell is with like we're going to have daycare for everybody? How is that infrastructure? I get it enables people to go back to work, but it doesn't belong in this bill.
Human infrastructure would fall under infrastructure because it's a form of infrastructure, but they're co-opting things that are not actually a form of human infrastructure, like pre-K for everyone.
Right.
So if I make like a cybersecurity
The Democrats
bill,
are really good at naming their bills, especially the government period, like the Patriot Act. The Patriot Act is a security state bill, but they called it the Patriot Act. So if you're against it, like somebody was saying, some comedian or somebody was saying that they're just going to start naming bills. If you hate children and hate kittens, you'll vote against this bill. You know what I mean? Or the I love orphans and stray dogs bill.
Yeah, exactly.
That's basically what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
one-
I like say I make a bill, right, as a congressman, and then it becomes. I don't remember if Congress makes them or Senate makes them. I'm a horrible person.
Either one.
But still, whoever makes the
The-
bill
start
and then
out
it gets
either place.
passed,
The
right?
Senate is Congress. You mean the House and the Senate?
The
Yeah, I
House of
got confused for a
Representatives and the
second.
Senate.
Regardless,
Congress is both.
there's a bill, and let's call it the cybersecurity bill of 2021. And in that bill, should I have stuff about farming that has nothing to do with cybersecurity? Should I put shit in there like, yes,
they
in
do
the
that all the
cybersecurity
time.
bill? I know, but they do. But why do they do that? Why is pork in
Well,
everything?
because
the
to
pork
get
out of
somebody to
it.
support it, they have to make a deal and say somebody's from Iowa and he wants to. So you give them the corn subsidy bill. Like the reason why there's a couple reasons why we're in this country right now. One of them is we went from the balanced food group, 4 food groups. Now we have 5, which they knocked out. They made dairy a separate one instead of including it with meat because they went back to it. And also with the corn subsidies, we have all this extra corn. So they put corn syrup and high fructose corn syrup in everything, and it's just making us fat, and huge and out of shape. And high fructose corn syrup is bad enough. High fructose corn syrup is not good for you at all, and it's in everything. Yep. It's in everything.
It's hard to find real
just
sugar.
Refined sugar is bad enough for it. Yeah, refined sugar is bad enough for you, but it's just not good. And they're wondering why everybody's
Jason. The only reason
when I was a kid,
the only reason they've done that is because it's cheap. It's cost effective. They found the cheapest source.
That's what I'm saying. Exactly.
They want to make a bigger buck. Hey, I can get a bigger.
If we have to import
because
cane sugar from South America, it costs money to bring that here. But if we have a shit ton of crappy corn that we can turn into a shittier version of sugar that's way cheaper, we're going to do that. And at this point, the government pays farmers not to grow things, which is ridiculous.
That's what I'm saying.
I get it.
Exactly.
I understand why they're doing it. I just still think it's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. Absolutely.
But it has nothing to do with InfoSec.
Absolutely.
So let's bring it back to InfoSec.
No.
A lot of these farms nowadays, actually, believe it or not, use irrigation systems that are connected to the internet. They're Internet of Shit devices. And a lot of them are installed by these installers with default credentials, and then they hand it off to the farmer. And in the small print somewhere in the manual, it says, you guys got to change these creds. But they never do. And then you can go online, and if you do like a Showdown search and you know the string to look for, you can find a bunch of farm equipment that you shouldn't be able to find. And some of this stuff, you could like turn people's sprinklers on, make them overwater their area if you were malicious. Well, that's that in Israel.
Well, last time I was at the wheat watching job, the farmer he had a tablet or a phone, and he controlled all the irrigation, everything from his phone, and he could see where stuff, and there were sensors to see where it was watered and where it wasn't. Controlled it all. He showed me to me. It was awesome.
Right. Handgun Pro makes a good point, and I'm going to build on it. Long story short is that all the spending is a net negative that just increases inflation, and that it's a devaluation of the U.S. dollar, which is a hidden tax on all of us rather than a direct tax, and balanced budgeting. And guess what? If we borrow $1 billion, right, and then we have to pay back $1 billion in 10 years, what if $1 billion that we have to pay back in 10 years is now only worth a tenth of what it was when we borrowed it? We're getting a net gain from what we borrowed, but the currency is getting devalued.
Well, that's why people can make money off of it. That's why people can make money off of it sometimes. And if you own debt, if you own real assets and you have a lot of debt, inflation can be good for you. You can
Yeah.
make money off it, just like how you can make money off the stock market crash.
I have a
There's all
theory
sorts of these
that
ways
Nathan
for
might be
people
able to help
game
me
the
with.
system.
I have a theory that Bitcoin is not going up. It's actually the U.S. dollar is going down.
Both. It's doing both, actually. Both things are happening.
I know. It was
Bitcoin's going through the roof,
crazy.
and the dollar's going
Freaking
down.
nuts. It was like, oh, what the hell? Someone wearing arms clothes just appeared behind Frank. I know. It's like, my God.
Yeah. We
Sorry,
live
Nathan, you
together.
still alive over there?
Yeah, I'm over here.
So my theory is like the value of the dollar, what it's actually worth, is going down. That's why we can buy. Like, it seems comparatively that crypto's going up, but it might just be crypto's around the same, but the dollar's dropping, so crypto seems like it's going up.
Well, no,
And
it's both. And I mean, one thing is you could just like look at what it costs when you go to the supermarket, so you can see the dollars going down.
right, and also gas. I think gas is inversely tied to the U.S. dollar, the price of gasoline.
Yeah, the U.S. dollar is the petrodollar. Same.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know. So that's so. Did you read about like what happened with the SEC and Coinbase with that lend product?
Yeah, they wanted to be able to be like, you can lend us your Bitcoin. We're going to lend it out to other people, but that would make them a security by the FCC. So the FCC is like, nope, nope, nope. And Coinbase was like, yeah, we're going to do it anyway. And then the FCC is like, we're warning you. And they're like, nope, doing it anyway. And then they're like, okay, lawsuit. And they're like, all right, we won't do it right now.
Right, but what they did was they said that I don't know if this went through or not, but they said they were going to subpoena for the names of everybody that was on the wait list for the lend product, which is
Really?
clearly the IRS using the SEC as a Trojan horse. That
Yeah.
pissed me off because these crypto projects know what they're getting into with the SEC, right? And if they choose to disobey or disregard, or if they choose to go try to comply, you know, they could try whatever they want. But when they start attacking the end user, then things are a lot more serious. And that's one of the reasons that I want to save the conference that I'm doing right now, or that I want to try to get back together, is because like there really needs to be a strong system of dissent and understanding. There has to be a clear understanding. I want to do a big NFT appeal, so like get the NFT kids in there and go, do you understand the taxable events that you're creating that you'll never ever be able to pay off?
Yeah. I mean, it's like when people win the lottery and then they're broke 2 years later because they didn't take into account how much they were going to have to pay in taxes, and they already spent half the money, and now they didn't have enough to pay back the tax man. And then they came and took back everything they got with the first half.
Yeah, it's terrifying, and I think it's pretty plain to see that these guys are acting really desperately and irrationally, straight across the board. Just
They're out of money. We're $28 trillion in debt.
Whoa. Sorry, I didn't mean to steal the focus there. I was just trying to add a screen for later. Yeah, I mean, it's really insane. These kids are making money on these NFTs because, like, a lot of the art and stuff that's selling, it's all like, well, a lot of the stuff that seems very popular anyway in the NFT space is done by like kids in just really countries that don't have a lot of money, and they end up like making this little piece of artwork, and then it's an NFT, and they make money because they learned about NFTs and how to create them and shit, which it sounds like really, really hard, but I'm sure it's really not all that complicated. Well, actually, why don't I ask the expert? Hey, Nathan, how does somebody go about making an NFT? What's an NFT clearinghouse? What's the deal?
Dude, you can go pop onto Wax right now, create a web wallet, and just buy one, and then you can look at the minting process. It's very, very, very simple, very intuitive and easy. The Raven Coin sub assets, which are NFTs, those guys have worked using IPFS to make them extraordinarily simple to and inexpensive to mint.
Oh wow! So we have essentially a commodity that's produced extremely cheaply that people are willing to spend a lot of money for. It sounds like a really good way to launder money if I were a criminal. Certainly better than other methods that are out there.
There is a lot of market fervor and a lot of hype. It's not too much different than the IoT market was several years ago, except for instead of companies rushing stuff to market, it's anyone at all.
Right.
So there's just this hysteria. Whenever there's like a new technology in that space that's developed, it won't really be employed properly, and people will do really stupid shit with it. But it's a way to stress test all these networks, and it's a way for people to get started thinking about, okay, well, what would be good use cases for this? Valuable ones, ones that would expand freedom, stuff like that. And I mean, one naturally is a lot of companies are working on gaming so that you can imbue tokens into something that you earn in a game. And then when you get rid of the game, that's gone. So it's like a way that you can trade that value or trade those unique items that you won in a game to someone else in another game, and then you could take credits in that game. And but
it's like the people who were doing WoW stuff years ago, where they would essentially trade items and stuff and make money off of it, and then it became like a whole marketplace for that shit.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, do you know about the Mt. Gox hack? Do you know what Mt. Gox stood for?
I really don't. I know about the hack, and I just don't know what it stood for.
Magic the Gathering Online Exchange.
Oh shit! I did not know that.
So yeah, it's people
you ever
have
see that guy smirk? The Mt. Gox guy. He was in the news conference, and they're all explaining like money's just all gone. And in the back, he's got like a Mona Lisa smirk going. It's like at that point was wondering, did this motherfucker just like steal this shit and he's gonna go like retire to some tropical island and never be heard from again? But he didn't. You know, he had been hacked multiple times, and each time tried to cover it up by just like, you know, essentially turning it into a Ponzi scheme until he thought he could get more money, which is why he got screwed. There was a whole episode of Darknet Diaries on that too. It was a really good listen.
Yeah, so speaking of Darknet Diaries, that was the next thing I was going to cite, like going back to like in-app purchases and stuff like that for gaming and everything, was the Manfred stuff in episode 7 and 8.
Yeah, well, a friend of Jason's and mine actually got their phone hacked recently. Well, it was through somebody either got their credit card or they got access to a Google Play account, but it doesn't look like it was the Play account. They did a ton of gaming purchases from like Activision and various mobile games at like $2.12 a hit.
Well, like under $5,
like wiping the account,
like $4.99, and then it would go $2. It would was an algorithm to drain the account.
Yeah, like trying purchases over and over again until the account had no money left through small incremental purchases, which is like really messed up.
2 months in a row. It happened last month too.
Yeah, it's messed up, dude. Where like these people, they get access to somebody's credit card, and before the person knows what's going on, they've drained the account and either credit or debit, whatever. And then if you called like the company, some banks are great. They'll be like, yeah, one or two, yeah, we'll refund it. But when it's a series of purchases, like a lot of them, then the person's responsible for going through and like finding each purchase that's fraudulent. And like some banks will only take like faxes to get this information, and like you can't even just email them like, yeah, these are the ones that are fraudulent. It's a whole process because they've done multiple charges rather than one large charge. So yeah,
and it was like every 10 seconds, like on the dot, they would just charge, and then it would switch the name and of what was being charged. It would just switch the amount, but it was the same amount. There should be it wouldn't be that hard to put a thing in there where that you could stop that from happening, so it wouldn't happen. And then all they do would just randomize the cents after that.
Right. My bank will actually do a fraud alert for me if I get more than two like that. If I've had it happen when I go to buy something and then they have to run the card again, or if I make like two of the same purchase at a place, I immediately get a fraud alert. Like, hey,
that card's run by the government. They just don't care. You know what I mean? They just don't care.
It's sad because it's like I get it. Fraudsters get away with a lot of shit, but when they take advantage of people like your friend who's on a limited income and like getting government stuff, it's really shitty. You know. Well,
think of all those people that do this reverse mortgage stuff. You got Tom Selleck up there doing stuff, and it's not a scam. It's not this and not that. Like, dude, your legacy. You can't pass anything on to your family. Now it's gone, bro. You don't lose your house. No, you don't lose your house, not until you die. Then your family doesn't get anything. You know, it's
Oh,
horrible.
absolutely. I remember not even long ago, in a similar vein, we were listening to a guy who was trying to scam somebody as me and Autumn were in a restaurant together. It was an IHOP, and this guy had brought somebody there for, I guess, a business meeting, and he was trying to essentially do the Amway deal on them, but for an
Yeah.
investment, real estate investment scam. And I Googled the company name that he referenced when he was talking to this person, and I looked at the comments, and I was able to put together what the scam is fairly easily. This place gets a whole bunch of people to invest money with one guy who invested it in a property that they buy that has a lot of tenants, and then they just let the place fall to shit and take the money. And like they, you know,
Yeah, it's basically a Ponzi scheme, but with a little bit more real
yeah.
assets.
So it's like the people who live in this place all of a sudden don't get anybody taking care of it. There's nobody, no maintenance, and no
Well, it's just like
nothing.
a,
It's like, yeah, it falls
it's like a
apart.
slumlord. It's like a absentee slumlord thing.
Right, and the
They've
people
got
who
a whole bunch
invest
of
it
scams
lose
like
all their
this.
money too. So it's like
Nobody,
everybody
but
gets fucked.
no, the people that should be enforcing this don't. They spend all their time doing other stuff. Like the war on drugs is a huge drain on everything.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? That we
Well,
could be
not
doing
not just
better
the war
stuff
on
with.
drugs.
The
There's
ATF, the ATF could just disappear, and the world would be a better place. We could spend all that money on other stuff.
agreed. I think there's a lot of misspending within the government, but that's like because you're gonna have that in every country. It's not just us. I think we need to invest more, obviously, in more infrastructure for cyber stuff. We've got some offensive cyber operations now through whoever the hell runs that. I forget. I think it was the Air Force last I heard, but it's probably a collaborative effort now. And like we have all this cool shit, but we don't invest nearly enough in programs to like maybe train local businesses on how to get their cybersecurity up to snuff, or like educational programs to teach people not to do really stupid shit online. It's like I think the government, if they're going to be investing in infrastructure, should invest in cyber infrastructure as well because it's important. Everything is tied together via the internet, and it's Cyber Awareness Month. And it's like it's gone from being a cyber awareness month to an advent calendar because every other day we have shit happening where like somebody's been breached. It's like it's getting out of hand. It used to be.
Yeah, but it's most of these are still low hanging fruit things that it's just simple configuration stuff that people don't do, and you have to change. You have to change. It's more than. I mean, we're not even at an awareness part. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's not. You can't bring enough awareness to it. People don't even know this is happening. But it's a whole culture of because before, a long time ago, like 30 years ago, to actually get on somebody's computer, you had to physically get on somebody's computer,
Yeah.
right? The whole mindset and culture is like that. People don't understand now that you can get anything, anywhere, anytime with the right stuff.
Right. Um, a lot of people don't understand the very basics of like even hygiene on the internet. Like in real life, we talk about hygiene being like, you know, I gotta brush your teeth and comb your hair
Yeah,
and
but it's
shit.
not
But in
taught. It's
cyber
not
hygiene, nobody
taught. It
knows.
should be
It's like
taught. Yeah, but it should be taught in our computer
it
and
should be
our
taught in middle
industry.
school, just
In the
like they
industry,
used to
that's what I'm
teach us
saying.
how to touch type when I was in middle
Type,
school, right?
exactly. Like typing, they should teach how you secure stuff.
Right.
Exactly.
And not just secure stuff, just being safe yourself online as well.
Just
Like
exactly right. Don't
not
click on a link and don't open the email. Don't open the thing unless you know who it's from. And
even
even
if you
then,
do know
scan
who
it
it's
first.
from, careful.
Scan it first. Yeah, exactly.
It's really easy to spoof somebody's email address. It's
Put
the
it up
same
on
as
the
sending a
VPN or
letter,
something
you
or a
know?
virtual. Yeah,
It's like if I want to send somebody
exactly.
a letter in the mail, all I have to do is write the address I want it to go to. If I want to send somebody a piece of email, all I need is at the very minimum, is access to a mail server, and then I could just specify in the RCPT2 field who the hell I want it to go to, and then I could send mail to
But
anybody. You know?
physical pen testers have the same problem. People still aren't aware because unless there's an actual threat that you're aware of, you know what I mean. You think everything is safe. We just live in
Yeah.
a safe country, pretty much, and the rest of the world isn't like that. You know, security is the number one thing you think of. You
Right.
know,
And I think like libraries and stuff should be giving classes to people
exactly.
on like how to stay safe on the internet, how to set up a browser securely so that you're not tracked everywhere and get, you know, ads, or like even more basic, how to not get phished, how to recognize
Exactly.
common scams, how to know when your friend is getting scammed and warn them. Like the old people always fall for these really strange scams where people call them, tell they're like their grandkids in jail in Mexico, and they're pretending to call as their
Yeah, right.
grandkid.
Exactly.
All the old person has to do is pick up a phone and call their grandkid and see if it's really them. But they worry and they go into that fight or flight thinking,
Well,
and they go to the
it's
Walmart and buy a bunch of money packs and send it to some
there's
schmuck.
also a thing, people don't want to be rude and confrontational. Then they also accept what they're being told. You know what I mean? Instead of double checking on
Yeah.
stuff, you
Uh,
know, people get or a lot of people are just gullible. They're not used to like when they say you can't scam an honest person. It's not true, dude. You know, you can scam you can't scam an aware honest person, but people get taken all the time.
I know, like
You know,
even in cybersecurity, as a pen tester, if I'm doing a phishing assessment, there are some fish I could send I know they're going to click, but I stay
yeah,
away from some things that other pen testers have done. Like I remember a while back, it was a big deal that pen testers had found out the company had canceled the yearly cost of living adjustment, right? Like this year,
yeah,
unfortunately, due to COVID, we're going to have to cancel the cost of living adjustment. So what they did when they found that out, because they had put like a public notice on the website about it, they made their phishing email say that something like update COLA decision reversed.
cost of living is going to be
Yeah, we are going to be
exactly.
paying you your click here for details. And guess what? Almost everybody in that freaking company clicked there. And when they clicked it, it was a fake company
Yeah.
portal that asked them to put in their credentials. And when they put in their credentials, shit happened.
Owned,
Um,
done. Yeah.
Whoa. We certainly got some interesting folks in the YouTube chat today. It's probably Ill Will again. He doesn't like me very much. He gets bored and decides to screw with me.
Oh,
Anywho, um,
oh, that's nice.
yeah. So yeah, I think that I forgot what the fuck I was talking about. But
We were
those
talking
fishing
about
guys, yeah. There's some
fishing.
things you just don't do when you're fishing. Um, hey, it's Dickie. Hey there, Dickie. Not much, dude. This is just us trying to
How's it
bring the
going,
cast
Dickie?
back to life. We're starting a new name and everything, and like doing it more often, hopefully, and not just on Wednesdays. But we'll see how it goes. Hopefully, well. Um, how it has been up. It's been a while, man. What's been up, Autumn? Can you hear me, Autumn? No, you can't.
Yes, I can.
Ah,
I can
shit.
hear you loud and clear.
Shut up, Google.
That bitch.
Big brother, big brother, or big
Hey
sister.
Google, turn chamber light red.
No.
Oh,
But no, Spike, our lizard's excavator clay came, so I was fixing his tank.
Yeah, we have a lizard now and a cat. That's new.
Yeah, an Aussie lizard.
So yeah, we covered the breach from Epic last cast, and this cast we've been talking a little bit about the breach over with Tumblr. Not Tumblr, that's ancient. I meant with that shitty online streaming service Twitch, and the info that was leaked pretty much is like how much everybody makes, and then somebody took that money and tossed info and tossed up a site about how much money everyone made, which was interesting to see. These dudes make a lot of money, and like I don't make a lot of money. Well, I make a little money. So yeah, we covered that, and there's lots of good shit going on as far as breaches lately. If you went through that Epic breach, it is a lot larger than most people realize. It is a hosting provider, and they dumped actual images of the servers that did the hosting, so you can actually boot them up and then have live versions of all those websites, and then go in the back end and reset admin creds for yourself, and go take a look at the website. All sorts of interesting data sets that you could pull. For instance, the GOP in Texas's website was on there. A bunch of white supremacist sites, and some other ones that are actually really white supremacist sites, and ones that are essentially more right-leaning than left, mostly on this hosting provider. We're all Essentially, the entire site was leaked. Not like a SQL injection type leak. Everything, all the contents of the site. So it's interesting. The Pandora papers, which has a shit ton of really good info, is something that was also recent. And I don't get how these leaks. I mean, the reporters had this shit for 2 years, and they just sat on it, didn't tell anybody as they were going through it, which I can kind of respect. But like the last time something happened like this with the not the Pandora papers. What was the other one before this? Anybody here with me? Am I talking to myself? Just freaking great. Oh, you're here? Okay, good. So the last time this happened, where a lot of rich people's financial data become immediately searchable, and you could look through, a lot of stuff that shows just how shady some of the stuff the rich and powerful do. Anyway, let's just show what I'm talking about here so that people don't think I'm insane more than I already am. So let's share this screen right here. Share screen. See how that? Let's share the whole thing. These are the Panama Papers. All right. Oh, I'm sorry, Panama. That was the other thing. The Pandora Papers. Brain fart. And want to know when we publish? You can get updates by email. There's supposed to be like a lot of really interesting shit in here. So I'm gonna have to switch the way I share the screen if you want to actually hear what the hell is happening here. Share screen, share Chrome tab, Pandora Papers, share, maximize, spacebar.
Panama Papers on steroids. This is the Pandora Papers because we think we're opening a box on a lot of things. We're looking at about 12 million documents from 14 different service providers. These are law firms, firms that set up secret offshore accounts for people in multiple jurisdictions. The British Virgin Islands, Belize, Samoa. These documents, for the very first time, is actually showing the US as a tax haven itself. We're talking about some of the most famous people in the world that are in these
Rich and
documents.
powerful,
Presidents,
famous people.
prime ministers, government ministers,
Twitch
King
streamers.
Jordan, a number of very high-profile Russian clients, people
Looks
that
like
are
Hitchens a
very
little bit.
close to Vladimir Putin.
I was thinking
We're
that.
seeing them buying real estate. We're seeing them trading in shares, using offshore companies. They're buying houses,
Pretty much anything you can
cars,
do to get away with
artworks.
hiding your money and
I
not
guess
paying
it mostly
taxes.
demonstrates that the people that could end the secrecy of offshore, could end what's going on, are themselves benefiting from it, so there's no incentive for them to end it.
The fact they held on to this
We're
for
not
2
looking at
years,
a couple
man.
of $1 million here, we're looking at trillions of dollars.
The financial centers of the world, like the US, Europe, leaders are able
So
to
what the hell
funnel
on
and
for 2
siphon
years?
money
What about
away
it?
and hide it in these jurisdictions through the use of anonymous
The
companies.
sheer amount of data in this breach is breaches is mind-boggling. I mean, they said
These are not
billions
just
of documents
like
to go through.
politicians and powerful people. We're talking about rock stars, including a lot of celebrities, and people that have been convicted of crimes all over the world.
A jury here in Los Angeles found 78-year-old Robert Durst guilty of first-degree murder.
In arresto a Marbella il surlatitante Raffaele Amato, boss della camorra scissionista.
La familia Rosenthal, acusada en Estados Unidos por lavado de activos ligado al narcotráfico.
The ability to hide money has a direct impact on your life. It affects your child's access to education, access to health, access to a home.
We're looking at a system here that is harming people. It's harming the world. And it's important that people know about it.
Yeah, man. It is important that people know about it. The thing is, the people who are in power are just going to find shit to distract us, so we don't pay attention to that. Or you're going to turn on the news.
Getting Trump elected again?
Right, that'd be excellent. So all they got to do is like spread some stories that Trump is going to run again, and he's absolutely confirmed it. And
He
maybe
already
like,
has confirmed it.
fucking who cares?
It's just
and
divide
like
and conquer. That's what they're doing. People fall for it all the time. The vaxxed, the unvaxxed.
right, that's a good debate to distract people. The vaccine, and it's a weapons of mass distraction, man. Weapons of mass
And
distraction.
now we got a copyright strike.
Again?
But you did say vaccine.
God damn it. No, it's not a copyright strike that we get when we say that.
Oh.
The more times you say that particular word in a YouTube video, the more likely their bots are going to like just take the video down without telling you, and then you're going to get like an email a day later saying your video is down for review. It's annoying. Like, yeah, it'll probably go back up unless you were actually spreading back stuff. But at the same time, I said the word. God damn it! Now we're going to get it.
Demonetized.
Well, Adrian's already demonetized. He's got a
Don't you love
Patreon or something,
censorship?
but
Censorship is just stunning and brave.
yeah, stunning and brave. Autumn actually made a post recently. I got to give it to her. It got 30 some odd retweets, and she was just very stunning and brave in this post. You know, it was very brave of her to say the things that she said. Controversial, brave, stunning.
Oh my God. Shut up.
What was it you said? I can't
stand
remember.
with Dave Chappelle.
Well, you stand with a popular comedian? Okay.
Yes.
Dave Chappelle was awesome.
Yeah, everybody loves Dave Chappelle.
I just watched it.
Why do you need to stand with him? I mean, he's awesome. Everybody loves him.
Because the whole trans community is basically
so why not just
attacking
watch
him for no reason.
Oh, the
He can't
tease.
take a few jokes, and it caused one of his friends, who's also transgender, to kill herself, leaving her daughter behind, all because they don't like a few jokes.
That's interesting, Dickie. Apparently, Twitch is actually banning people who are shitting on their security. And that's not at all the right thing I clicked there. It was supposed to be the one above it. All right. Yeah. I mean, look, if you have people on your platform shitting on your platform, I think if you want to, you can kick them off. But at the same time, when you silence people from one platform, they're going to go to another one and talk about how they were silenced on that one. And that's going to generate a lot more people to talk about that topic than if you just let them talk about it on yours. It's like, you know, if you try and suppress knowledge, it just makes people want to freaking learn it more. Yeah, go burn some books, but at the same time, guess what? Now that's going to be the most popular book people are going to want. So, I digress. Think Destiny is the biggest I'm aware of, though. I don't really know much about him. Yeah, I mean, I don't really follow Twitch people. We've streamed this cast on Twitch previously. We have usually like one or two people at most tune in from there, but they only tune in for a minute or two, and it's probably because it pops up on some screen.
But he's at least an honest socialist.
Yeah. Who's Destiny? Is that like a political
Destiny
person?
is this Twitcher. He's like Vosh. He's a leftist.
He's like Vosh or
he was kind of red pilled a little bit when it came to Kenosha with that
Rittenhouse.
Rittenhouse. That is an excellent brand of alcohol.
No, it's not. Shut up.
Yeah, we bought a thing of that just to see what it was like. It was bad. It was not good. Destiny isn't a socialist, apparently, according to Herrick. So, Destiny's not a socialist.
Did anyone say they were a socialist?
I don't
think
know.
I said leftist.
No.
If I did,
well, apparently, leftists and socialists are conflated somehow.
Well, I don't know. That's why I'm asking. But
yeah, I don't know.
I sent you a bunch of videos.
I know. None of them had anything to do with InfoSec, but they all look interesting.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought this was a mixed podcast.
Well, it's an Untitled InfoSec podcast, and the fact that it's untitled gives us a little leeway. Which of these 6 videos that you sent me did you want me to go over? President Biden remarking on some shit with vaccines, which is probably not the wisest thing. And now we said the damn word again. We're going to get flagged.
One, the other.
And then we get Democratic negotiations are a great example of power politics.
Not
We've
that
got that one. We also got China's Xi vows reunification with Taiwan.
He vows reunification with Taiwan.
Forced unification.
Yeah, exactly.
Suspect in Texas high school shooting is released on bond. I don't think most of our viewers really care about that.
Yeah, do that.
Okay, let's watch it because I just said most people don't care about it, so we'll watch it. Okay, let's do it. So, what happened in Texas recently? I digress. Some person was getting bullied in school. This is the story they're putting forward. I don't know if it's true or not. And then they brought a gun to school and shot the bully
Welcome, Harris.
when they were getting beat up. And now the bully's in critical condition. And then a day later, the person who shot him was released on bond. Very rarely does anybody who shoots somebody in a school get released on bond the very next day. But
nobody was murdered, and he's not a white guy, so
that's true. And I mean, there are extenuating circumstances that he was being bullied, I guess.
Yeah, well, what happened was when the parents were talking to reporters, they were saying something like, "Oh yeah, we completely stand against what he did, bringing the gun to school." But it's really
Timothy Simpkins is out on bond a day after police say he perpetrated a school shooting that left a 15-year-old in critical condition.
Do you have anything to say?
Among the many tragedies
is that we will get a copyright strike for showing this video and not the stuff we should have gotten.
A student should bring a firearm into a school or feel threatened in that way that they feel like they gotta have a weapon.
Arlington PD investigating several disturbing videos. The student in the white shirt being beaten is the alleged shooter, and the aggressor, the victim in the eyes.
Quick question: why are people not doing the thing they usually do when there's a school shooting, blaming guns? Normally, the first thing I see whenever there's a school shooting is, we got to get rid of guns. It's the gun's fault. It's not the kid's fault. Their brains are not developed.
He's not a white guy. He's not a white guy. They had to change the narrative.
Well, according to Dickey too, that's the narrative that's being pushed. But is that the truth of the matter? I don't know. I don't understand this shit. I know when I was going to school, the thought of bringing a gun to school was like unheard of. This is before Columbine even happened. So like nobody would even consider doing shit like that. But then it was like after Columbine, we had a school shooting a year, and then it was like 10 a year, and it. But now we mostly work. Past couple of years has been better. But anyway, and yes, why was somebody filming this rather than trying to break it up? That's a very good question. Probably because they sold that video.
I went to Arlington Independent School District in Texas, and I'm honestly just not surprised to see this. I've seen people like just
Hair makes a good point.
Down the stairs, like head counselors. Like
the public schools are cesspits.
This is not a typical school shooting. They're right. It's not. This was a kid who's getting bullied who decided to bring a weapon to school to
How
fight
did
back.
he get it into the school, though? Because when I went there, we had metal detectors. We had random body scans. You had to be checked before going on campus.
I don't know. Maybe they walked into the school and opened a window afterwards and had a friend hand it to him. Who knows? I mean, it's not like schools were designed to be prisons, even though some of the ones they're building now certainly look like them. But like it'd be fairly trivial. Okay, you get through the school through the metal detectors without a gun. You open a window in the bathroom or wherever, and like your friend hands you a gun. I don't know. It's probably trivial to get a gun past that kind of shit security. Anyway, this past Thursday, my mom's school was put on shutdown because there was a threat of some sort. And on Friday in Pennsylvania, there was also another similar incident. Look, I'm not going to be surprised if the incidents, the frequency of school shootings and bad things like that go up, because people have been cooped up in their houses for 2 years, and now we're going back, and we're like, the pandemic's not even gone, but now we're putting the kids back in school, because you can only sustain having parents out of the workforce for so long because they have to be home taking care of their kids all day. Which is why I am for the part in the infrastructure bill that says you should have pre-K and you should have like universal pre-K and all that shit. But I don't think it should be in that bill. That's my argument. I'm not against the idea. I think it's a great idea. I just think it doesn't belong in that fucking bill.
Pre-K is horrible.
You just hate women, Francis.
That's why I'm not with one.
The problem is one parent can't bring enough money in to support everybody. We need one parent working and the other parent taking care of the household. It has to be like that. Otherwise, we have what we have today. We have the prison to school pipeline. We have teenagers getting pregnant at ridiculous rates. We've got all these social ills because people aren't raising their children these days. They're expecting the schools, and the schools are cesspits. The schools are the worst thing that you'd ever want to raise your kid. They don't care about anybody. They don't. It's horrible.
Right. So in my opinion, to what Hare asked in the comments here, is that the infrastructure is a good bill. What do you not like about it? I think the infrastructure bill should strictly be about infrastructure, and by infrastructure, roads, bridges, things that connect, areas like, and
not $3.3 trillion.
Right.
Over 10 years. That's
so
crazy.
I am for a lot of the things that Bernie wants in the other bill. In this bill, rather, but I think it should be in other bills. I don't think you should try and lump together this bill. And also, when you put this much pork in a package, and then you try and push the other side in the way that they've done, where they go, look, if you don't pass this bill, the government's going to have to shut down because we're tying this bill to the ability for the government to continue to function. That's dirty pool. Regardless of if the Republicans did it or the Democrats did it, I don't follow politics enough to
they
really
both
care.
do
But
it.
when
I
you
mean,
do shit like
the
that, it's dirty
Republicans
pool.
did this with
You
Obama,
threaten to
too.
shut down the government because you're not going to get your way. That's bullshit. And I think both sides are doing it to each other, and then they're blaming each other for it. And when you talk about politics, that's what people get frustrated about, is that we elect these elected officials to represent
Act
us
like children.
and then they go to Washington, instead of representing us, they throw temper tantrums when they don't get their way. They cut backroom deals with the other side so that they can get things done that they want to get done, and then it results in these pork bills. 3.3 trillion might not be a lot in the grand scheme of money. But the thing is that I'm saying this bill needs to be separated into multiple bills, and we don't need to make it contingent on if we don't pass this bill, we're not going to have any federal government for a month while they all go and try and figure that shit out. It's like,
you know, $1 trillion will go if you stack dollar bills, it'll go to the moon and back.
I don't know if that's true, but it could be. Who knows?
Look it up. Google it.
I think we should just go back to Afghanistan and find some of those pallets of money we shipped over there. And I'm just teasing. Okay.
We can take over Mexico and operate the
Simpkin's
drug
family
cartel.
says they reported bullying to the school.
Now, that's what the CIA does. They make their black budget through selling drugs.
The decision that he made, taking the gun, we're not justifying that. That was not right. But he was trying to protect himself.
Do you believe?
No, it's not. From her viewpoint, that's valid. It's not bullshit.
It is bullshit.
It's not. From her viewpoint, her son was being bullied at school. I don't know if they took the family gun or if they took somebody else's gun. It doesn't matter. The kid took a gun to school.
The guy was attacking someone, and he had a gun on him.
If the narrative that's being pushed is that this was a kid who was being bullied and this is how he decided to fight back, is legitimately true, and not just some bullshit defense tactic they cooked
They're
up.
probably not taking care of their child. They're probably not mentoring them.
Now, wait, who are you to make assumptions about how they've raised their child just because their child acted out once?
Questions, looking into how they're being treated in school.
Can you judge a person based on one thing they've done? And this,
one thing can be caused by multiple.
I'm trying to be a
things. You just gotta
contrarian
go
here,
for three.
but it's hard. Anyway, the infrastructure bill is needed, though. Yeah, a lot of the parts and things that are in there are certainly needed. I just don't think they should be in that bill.
It's a 4,000-page bill. 4,000-page bill. How is that needed? How is that ever necessary for one bill to be 4,000 pages long? And then they didn't read it all, dude. You know how many pages 4,000 pages is to read? It's insane.
Well, the congressmen have the pages.
4,000 pages.
The congressmen have the pages, not the page, that kind of page. They have their pages read the bill and then summarize it to them. So imagine how much power a college kid's got when their interpretation of a 4,000-page bill is what the people who actually make the policy base it on. So you're a college kid and you're interning over there, and your job is that you're working with senator or whoever, and they give you this 4,000-page bill, and you go and you summarize this bill. Your summary of that bill now determines the senator's decision if they're going to pass it or fail it. Or it's a lot of freaking power for a college intern to have, man.
Also, boys are taught to shut about being bullied. I don't think that's true at all. There's no evidence suggesting that boys are taught to be quiet about being bullied. If anything, they're taught to fight back. That's usually what dads would generally tell their kids to do. So that narrative is bullshit.
Yeah, the U.S. infrastructure is absolute garbage, and you really need stimulus right now. So my thing here is that yes, the U.S. infrastructure is failing badly compared to other. We've got bridges that are falling down that hold like trucks.
But you need the states and the counties to fix it, not the federal government.
Regardless of who's going to fix it, I think if we're going to be writing bills that are designed to tackle an issue, the bill should just tackle that issue. As the second we start putting things that are completely unrelated to that issue in the bill, the less likely it's going to get passed, the longer the debate back and forth is going to be, and the less likely the money that's intended that was intended to be allocated for this bill is going to actually get allocated to the thing
They
it's
want to
supposed to be
double.
for.
They want to double the amount of in that bill. They want to double the amount that not only they want to pay $80 billion more dollars to the IRS and hire 80,000 more people, which the IRS only has 70,000 people right now.
According to
That's bad. They say it'll pay for itself because they want to tax everybody. It's just a joke. It's a joke.
Yeah, bullshit.
Never mind the COVID stuff they have in there.
Buy Bitcoin.
buy Bitcoin, buy it all, and then
exactly buy Bitcoin.
So I say, Nathan, you and me, we make our own cryptocurrency, right? And then we pump it on social media, get it really, really high, and then we do a pump and dump.
I want to make a cryptocurrency.
What?
You call it Frankfin.
Tied to the price of crack cocaine.
We'll call it Scam Coin.
There was a guy that did this, and it was to buy a monitor, and he ended up getting, or maybe it was a TV, but he ended up making like 30 grand or something, and he just ended up buying a whole bunch of TVs.
Nice.
He wrote a white paper and everything detailing that it was a scam, and there was never ever, you're throwing your money at him by buying the token.
Excellent. But you should call it Scam Coin and do the same thing.
You may have been taught that, Herrick, but there's no evidence suggesting that most children that are male have been growing up that way.
This guy I'm friends with on Facebook, Derek, actually made his own crypto coin, and it did pretty well. And it's still traded publicly and is like a big thing. So,
yeah, the only ones I really pay attention to anymore are privacy coins. I like to see the competition.
What do you think of Pirate?
I know the guys from Pirate. They're all really fantastic people, and they're. I saw Matt Green. Matt Green came to Philly a couple years ago, and he was talking about Zcash and stuff. And then he was saying at the time how computationally heavy the transactions were with the ZK snarks, and how they couldn't get users to use them, and like 2% of their transactions were going through as shielded. And he was like, "Boo hoo hoo! We don't know how to figure out how to get more people doing it." Pirate came out and they're like, "Fuck it, private by default. You can't do it on a shielded transaction." Mobile client. I mean, the guys are rocking and rolling. They're doing their thing. They still have the same trusted setup problem as anything else with ZK snarks, but they're pirates.
Yar me matey.
You know it trades under ARRR, right?
Arr me matey. I've come to take you, Autumn. We're going to take you to the. This whole relationship has been a sting operation, Autumn, and I'm gonna go take you to prison now. Sorry.
Okay.
You ready?
You guys want to hear a joke?
A joke?
Yeah.
Tell me a joke.
Yes. What is a pirate's favorite letter?
R.
That was too quick.
That was bad, Jason, and you should feel bad for making that joke.
What did the old ass pirate say on his birthday?
What?
I'm 80. What?
Ah. All right. Well, Autumn sent me this video to put on the cast as well. This should probably make people pissed off, so we'll play it because why not? Let me watch. But I've got this freaking video up twice now. Okay. Where'd my freaking thing go? Aw, it went away. I'll do it again. Share video. Share screen Chrome tab. Which Chrome tab? It's the one that says 67. That's 6. No. Watch body cam. That's. Alright, so Frank can't use the computer anymore. He's gone full R. Well, you're not allowed to say the word anymore, but I've gone there.
Retard?
Reject.
You know.
Say the tardy-tard word.
You can't use that word anymore.
I just used it.
All right.
I'm a paraplegic, sir. And now we're going to YouTube hell.
I cannot step out of the car. I cannot step out of the vehicle. I think this guy's disabled.
Hello. Hey, bro. Can you come down the street to Ferguson and Grand? The police just pulled me over and they trying to make me get out the car, and I'm telling them I'm a paraplegic. I can't get out the car without no help. These motherfuckers trying to. They on some bull. Just come down the street, bring some people with cameras. Come down the street, come bring cameras and bring somebody so they can witness what's going on. I'm not getting out. I just told you I'm a paraplegic. I cannot get out. I do not have to. I do not have to.
So why is he in the driver's seat? I don't understand how he can drive. How does that
pull you out and then I'll call a white shirt because you're getting out of the car. That's not an option. You're getting out of this car. So you can cooperate and get out of the car. I'll drag you out of the car. You see your two options here? Now, what would you like to do, sir?
I would like for you to call your white shirt.
I will. Get out of the car.
Come on, bro.
Get out of the car. Get out of the car.
Listen,
get out of the car.
I am a paraplegic, bro. You can hurt me.
Get out of the car.
You can hurt me, bro.
Get out of the car. Get out of the car.
What are y'all doing, bro?
I got all the police are just like, yep, gotta help him. Not even gonna question it.
I got help getting in the car. Y'all can hurt me. They can hurt me.
Get out of the car. You have to get out of the car. Get out of the car.
Somebody help!
Something right here.
Somebody help! Somebody help!
That's fucked up.
That is incredibly fucked up. What the hell is wrong with these police?
They are doing the wrong thing to me.
Get up and
They're being police. That's what police do. You think black people complain about the police? They talk about the statistics about that not as many black people are killed by police. But what the study did find is that black people get the shit beat out of them by police all the time. They're way more rough-handed than other people. Like, go hang around with black people and see how the police treat them all the time. It's not cool.
True.
Poor white trash, same thing. Mexicans, they all get the same business. If you don't have money and you're in poor neighborhoods, the police treat you like shit. They're fucking assholes. They suck.
I think the protests here in Portland had the exact opposite of the intended effect. Autumn and I were talking about this. That
yeah, now we have shitty police, and police don't do nothing now instead of the bullshit they did before, which at least helped a little bit. Look at
now the police we've got left are the ones who don't give a fuck.
Down. Yeah, no. I hate police.
I actually don't hate police at all. I just think the ones we've in certain areas are really assholes.
It's all on camera. She explained it to you several times. You're getting out.
To be fair, when you look at the
fucking
poor
guy's a
community,
quadriplegic
how are
and
they
they're
also reacting to the police and
paraplegic?
Because that can also lead to escalation. It's a two-way street.
And before they claim racism, that's a black police officer that did that to him.
Huh?
Oh, was that guy black? His arm looked a little tan.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news.
Wait, was that police officer black? Look at this cam. That looks like a white hand to me.
Yeah, it's a black police officer.
How do we know?
No, it's a black police officer.
Where? How can you tell?
How
do you know he's not Spanish or anything else?
I'm telling you, he's a black police officer.
He's a light black police officer.
I don't know what color the guy is. This is certainly
fucking
disturbing. Regardless of the color of the person who did this to another color,
you can
let's
see
take color
white
completely out of
guys.
it. Treating
White guys
anybody
on
like
the
this
bottom.
is fucking garbage.
Well, I get it, but they always want to claim racism. Race got nothing to do with it. It's police versus non-police. They always want to call us civilians. Police are civilians too, dude. You're not in the military. Assholes.
All right. So, that pretty much is that video. Oh, it came back. Yeah, that's messed
dude.
up,
If we didn't have dumb gun laws, we wouldn't need police. We need a sheriff and to supervise stuff. You know what I mean? Nobody would get out of line.
Correct.
But you have people that are defenseless. They can't defend themselves. And so the police just become whatever. They can't protect anybody. Only people that have guns are the criminals and the police. It's a joke. People are prisoners in their own neighborhoods, man.
Yeah.
Police don't protect anyone. And
They don't protect shit. They can't
Look,
protect
we
anybody.
say
They're
this,
perhaps
but then when shit goes
the
down,
fact to
someone's trying
clean
to
up the
break into your
mess.
house, people will call the fucking police. And even people at these
It's
protests.
too late. The police are, if somebody's kicking in your door, they're going to be in your house before the police are there, unless you're barricaded in there somewhere and you're armed. Somebody's coming through my door unwantedly. That's the last event they're ever going to do. You know, it's just point blank. I'm not worried about it. I mean, it's a shame. It's a shame that everybody can't live like that. You know, you can't live like that in New York City. Only the rich people get and criminals and police have guns. It's a joke, dude. And politically connected. It's a joke.
I digress. They
talk about we live in a post-constitutional republic, you know?
Yeah.
Constitution is gone. It's been gone for a long time. If it ever existed in the first place for everybody, which it didn't.
Constitutions don't matter to me.
Why don't
exactly? Because I don't get my rights from the government.
No. Listen,
doesn't the government tell you how many rights you're allowed to have?
We have a lot of different things going
gets
on.
to choose how much you have. Some people get none. Some people have to have their rights revised.
Well, yeah.
Sometimes it's divine intervention.
Another thing that's happening now is if companies are going to get caught like pushing the breach data under the rug, the U.S. government is going to sue the shit out of them. So
you should be able, as a citizen, if you're from a corporation, if your data is leaked, you should be able to sue that corporation for damages. Point blank. I don't know why that's not a thing right now, or why somebody hasn't done it before. But if they will need that information that much to verify who you are, they're entrusted with that information. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if it gets compromised somehow, they're responsible for any damages you incur. I don't see how that's not a precedent already, or somebody hasn't done that. It's just not okay. It is not okay.
Right.
I mean, if the government leaks your data, who's responsible? The government.
Well, then who's the government going to sue? So
exactly.
I am saying there's definitely a hole there.
Thing.
So this new legislation will essentially give the government the ability to financially impact and hurt companies that have covered up breaches. Exactly. What happens when the government itself gets hacked? Do they then have to pay? Does that mean we pay when the government fucks up? I don't know. Well, actually, we do pay whenever the government fucks up. That's the whole point. God-given rights versus big corporations. Governments divvy out who gets rights. So if governments are just puppets of corporations, as kind of alluded to in Cyberpunk, does that mean that when we get our rights, they're actually just coming from corporations? That's an interesting thing to go through.
I mean, that's kind of where we're leading.
Corporatocracy.
But I think that's a false dichotomy to say God-given rights and then business-given rights.
The law is there to protect us from our rights being invaded.
Exactly.
That's what people misunderstand. You know, what Dickie just pointed that out. It's exactly right.
Yep. So speaking of the government trying to do shit, at least CISA, the guys that Krebs used to lead before Trump kicked him out, they released a new tool that helps organizations guard against insider threats. It's a free self-assessment tool that can be used to gauge a company's risk posture. All you gotta do is answer a bunch of questions, and then they kind of give you a score and help you figure out things you can do to reduce that risk. I think it's kind of cool they're at least trying to do shit. It has nothing to do with the factual evidence based on gods or religions. What? Oh, the natural rights argument. Okay. Yeah. I don't know much about that. Autumn would probably know a lot more about all those things than me. She's a little more political of the two of us.
Well, God,
more or less, God is an idea required of social contracts.
It's just kind of what I come up with, what I stand by. I think rights are
empathy, social.
It's more like privileges, I would say, because if you really think about it, they can be taken away at any time, and it's all subjective. What you want is what you can consider your right.
U.S. to tell critical rail air companies to report hacks, names cyber chiefs. The TSA, Transportation Security Administration, will introduce regulations that compel most U.S. railroads and airport industries to do three things. 1. Improve their cybersecurity process. 2. Identify a chief official. And 3. Inform the government when their network has been breached and draft a recovery plan.
There is
Look,
no God.
I get very nervous when I'm in an airport because I like to take a look at networks wherever I'm at. And let me just say, the networks in airports are not usually very secure. I've seen guest networks in airports that were literally on the same network segment as the critical systems in the airport. Like, this is your Wi-Fi that anybody can use. Let's put it on a same network that can access not just the TVs and all that shit that's around the airport, but put all the critical shit in there too, like the scheduling and the systems where people book tickets. Put it all on the same LAN. It'll be fine. So yeah, I get really paranoid sometimes when I'm at airports thinking that the plane's just going to go down. I mean, I've seen security researchers who have been able
to think if they happen more than they really do through media.
Yeah, I've seen security researchers claim, I don't know if it was true or not, that they're able to go from the in-flight system via like connecting by USB to those in-flight systems, and then they were able to somehow pivot from there into the other systems on the plane that are supposed to be completely segmented, because the router or something was like, I don't know if it's the router or whatever it was, but something had default creds, and they were able to use that to kind of do like a VLAN pivot, or as other nerds call it, a hopping VLANs, which is hard to do, man. But yeah, so if a hacker can bypass the plane security and get to the shit in the cockpit from the entertainment system, it makes me wonder how secure everything is. Because I mean, no longer is it going to be Allahu Akbar and taking a knife and fake plastic knife and trying to hijack a plane. There's going to be sticking in a thumb drive and watching all the systems go down. You know, it's scary shit.
Or better yet, you can use like Bluetooth to kind of connect to the plane, maybe.
Yeah. So Op Jane, I don't know if Operation Jane is the hackers on Estradiol. Am I saying that word right, dear?
Estradiol.
Oh, Estradiol. Okay. So trannies are. Oh, I did it again. Adrian's gonna kill me. I'm sorry.
He doesn't even use his channel.
He does use his channel. I feel bad. I'm sorry. Anyway.
You told me different.
Plus, I shouldn't use that word anyway. So transgender hackers is what the group is referring to themselves as, essentially hackers on Estradiol. They're like anonymous people. They're claiming that that breach Epic was you know what, I've completely lost my goddamn train of thought since I used that word, and I don't know what the hell I was going to say now. So let's forget it. Who cares? But it's a big deal. I mean, that Epic breach is so much bigger than people realize. There's thousands of websites. All their user data is breached, you know, and a lot of this stuff is not encrypted in any way, shape, or form. It's scary, man. Denial of opportunity is a form of genocide used to whitewash North American cities. Videos of New York now tell a whiter-faced tale than 20 years ago, compared the recordings of various decades. What? Can you elaborate on that? I'm not quite sure what you're talking about. I don't want to misrepresent your argument there if I try to respond to it. Next, we've got an unnamed ransomware gang is using a Python script to encrypt VMware servers. This Python script is genius in that it doesn't encrypt all the files. It encrypts little parts of each file so that the file becomes itself unusable and can be restored to its original version. But at the same time, you don't have to worry about encrypting all the parts of the hard drive. You can really very quickly make a VMware server unusable and have the files on there locked, and provide them with a key that will unlock it. So
I love it.
Oh, thank you. Next, we have Twitch's source code and streamer payment figures have been leaked following a hack. It doesn't appear the information contained any usernames, passwords, addresses, or banking information, but that actually might just come out in a future drop. Like, this might just be the appetizer, is what I'm thinking, because that's what these hackers on Estradol did with the other breach. This was where I was going, is they released an initial breach, and people were like, holy shit, this is a lot of data. Then they released 2 more that had, like, everything. And for a company that does hosting for a living, to not notice that much data being exfiltrated is purely criminal. I'm like, I get a lot of people liked this company on the right because they would host pretty much anything and not ask any questions. That's the same reason people like me like, certain services like that do the same thing for other reasons. But the Twitch account in question here is, I'm sorry, if you have a Twitch account in question here, you should definitely activate your 2-factor authentication if you can. And Jason's actually going to have to cut out soon, and I think Autumn is too, but I would like to keep going for just a little longer, maybe 20 minutes if you guys don't mind. Good? All right.
Sure.
Twitch's... I read the wrong thing again. Facebook Engineering's report on what happened in layperson's terms. BGP, DNS, physical access fails, oh my. During one of the routine maintenance jobs, a command was issued with the intention to assess the availability of the global backbone capacity, which unintentionally took down all the connections in the global backbone, effectively disconnecting Facebook data centers globally. Their systems are designed to audit commands like these to prevent mistakes from being made, but a bug in the audit tool prevented it from being properly stopping that command. So the primary out-of-band network access was down. They sent engineers on site to the data centers to have them debug the issue, restart the systems, but they couldn't get into the data centers because the data centers had access control systems that were tied into the internet and the routes were down, so they could not get into the building. When they finally did manage to get into the building, the hardware, the routers, all that stuff is actually designed to be very difficult to modify even when you have physical access to them, because they really wanted it to be secure and to prevent from insider threats. So getting the shit back online just took like 6-7 hours. Good, bad. Whether or not we believe that this was true and how the Facebook thing went, it was inconvenient for some people. What's your guys' opinion? If crypto CCP starts a national currency versus the globalism crypto, we'll likely see. I feel like every fraction of a cent will be taxed for carbon tax purposes. That's actually a good point. So Nathan would have been so much better to answer this. I don't think he's around right now.
Yes, he is.
Yay!
Wait, what was it?
What is your guys' opinion on crypto if CCP starts a national currency versus the globalism crypto we'll likely see? I feel every fraction of a cent will be taxed for carbon neutral purposes.
Central bank digital currencies, right? So fiat shit coins from governments. I'm really excited about them. I talk to people about Bitcoin, people that I care about that don't understand it or anything. That I want them to be able to have this little escape vehicle, and I want them to get into it. And I'm like, look, I've been talking to you since it was the like $300. You just got to do it. You got to do it. You got to do it. And they always use this excuse, well, I don't know how. I don't understand it. And so central bank digital currencies are just going to take that excuse away. And I think it's also going to come with like a whole lot of like fear mongering and, oh, there's going to be a social credit score and they can shut off everything and tax everything. And I think that there's going to be a lot of people that in a responsible way start moving over to Bitcoin. So I'm all for these things.
Okay. That's a good answer. I do think that if a government is going to get involved in having their own crypto, they're certainly going to make sure that they're taxing the shit out of everybody using it for any reason. Whether that be like a carbon tax, like this person thinks, or just basically making sure that every transaction is taxed in places that have sales tax, and making sure that any government taxes that might be in place. Like, say you want to buy a Tesla with crypto, guess what? Now you have to pay an extra fee for the taxes.
Well,
You might not have to pay otherwise if you paid cash.
they're called central bank digital currencies because they're not crypto mining. It's not backed by cryptography. The idea behind it, the cryptography was used for the decentralization to keep people honest, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the idea with central bank digital currencies, pretty much most dollars are already digital. All this is going to do is put the final nail in the coffin.
Right.
Like all the stuff in your bank account, they're just ledger entries.
Right.
So it's not that much of a deal. It's not a big change. It's still a stupid, shitty fiat currency. It's just going to be all digital in the future, which makes sense. And like even if you look back at PayPal, long before Bitcoin, there were other cryptocurrencies that just didn't succeed, didn't solve all the problems. There were think tanks at a lot of major universities trying to figure out how to make these things work. PayPal, their greatest success was failing at creating a cryptocurrency. So, it was all bound to happen, and it's happening beautifully, I think.
Well said. Yeah, I don't know enough about cryptocurrency stuff to really comment on those kind of questions. Like, I have the basics down, and I bought crypto before, but like I'm not an expert at it like you are, dude. So I appreciate when you're here to kind of answer those questions if people toss them.
Cool.
Isn't Bitcoin already a public ledger though? We drone strike people for metadata, according to Korak the ape.
Yeah, Bitcoin is a very public ledger. But the thing is you're just seeing all the key pairs, right? So governments attack at the on-ramps and the off-ramps. So if there's going to be Bitcoin ATM, there's KYC, know your customer laws, and you have to expose who you are there. When you link a bank account to an exchange to buy some cryptocurrency, that's how they track all this stuff and everything. People were using wallets, stuff like that. So there's definitely, it could be traced, but then also if you want to do the work and use Tor and everything like that, you can still use Bitcoin anonymously.
Yeah. I wonder. So I just saw this article pop up called "Creating Wireless Signals with Ethernet Cables to Steal Data from Air Gap Systems," and this really reminds me of Ong's work over at Red Balloon Security. I wonder if he's involved in it at all, because he had built this thing called Fun10 years ago that could use the GPIO pin on a printer to exfiltrate data by bitbanging it. Just through sending a regular print job to it, you could like exfiltrate data, which I thought was freaking neat. But this looks really cool. You're taking a LAN cable and turning it into an antenna, and then you're somehow transmitting LANtenna attack. That looks freaking cool. Look, you can actually just go out now and for not lots of money buy fake cables that have this kind of ability built into them already. It's all bad USB stuff that's just kind of evolved over the years. Or now you can buy what looks just like an Apple charging cable, but it's actually got the ability to inject keystrokes into the computer, acting as a HID device, right? There's all sorts of cool shit out there if you're willing to look for it. Hack5 kind of like started selling pen test gear to the masses, but there's other places that sell way better shit that's more expensive. And you'd be surprised. Like, if you really are desperate to get into a network that's really locked down, all you really got to do are get some of these freaking cables, some of this gear, and do the old same trick that you would do with thumb drives, just drop them places. Somebody's walking down the hallway, they come across an Apple charging cable, they've got an Apple product that's laying on the floor. They're likely going to pick it up, and they'll probably even use it if they have an Apple device. There's lots of cool shit you can do nowadays in that arena. So, and I find it fascinating. I didn't verify this well, sorry. I do trust the source. What's going on? Does this remind that banks are handling banking info to the feds without warrants? Anybody know anything about that? Feds handing out banking info without warrants? I know Google will hand out your location data without a real warrant, but I didn't hear anything about a bank doing this. Nobody? Alrighty. Well, Next, we've got the rising cost of data breaches. Zero Trust, will it fix this? Significantly, the report that came out called The Rising Cost of Data Breaches found that the data breach costs for companies with mature Zero Trust deployments were $1.7 million lower than the cost for companies that didn't use Zero Trust. A lot of people don't know what the hell Zero Trust even means. I'm going to use an analogy here for non-InfoSec people. Zero Trust would be like, if you come to my door and there's a lock on it, you need to open that door. But then you start walking down, and every room you want to get into, there's another lock. And you need to unlock that too. Nothing is easily, like, you can't just get in. It's like not just two-factor or multi-factor authentication getting into your network, but then when I want to use this piece of technology that's within the network, I then need to authenticate again. And yes, it is okay if you're using a token that's pre-authenticated to continue to re-authenticate other things, because that already proves that that's the person accessing the resource, but there's still Zero Trust implied. It's very confusing. I work in InfoSec. It's confusing to me. And yeah, Zero Trust is a really dumb word, but it's a big deal. So last but not least, the NSO Group's Pegasus malware is being used to spy on lawyers. This freaking NSO Group is consistently in the news because what they do is they sell malware to station. The NSO Group will sell malware to any nation state that says it's going to use that malware to hunt terrorists. But then at the same time, what each state declares a terrorist is very different. And when a state starts calling a journalist a terrorist, then we end up in situations where they're justified, or at least feel that they are, in deploying malware to journalists' phones using 0 days that the rest of us don't have access to. And this has led to journalists in the past getting executed, and then the company refusing to sell that particular country any more of their malware. Although it would probably take something event that bad to do that. Yeah, that's true. So the problem with a lot of things in life is definitions, right? Autumn can agree with me here. When we can't agree on a definition for a word, things get very confusing very quickly. Or at least she can disagree with me on it. Some people argue language is ever changing and that words will mean different things over time, and they certainly will. And words can also have different meanings depending on the context, or even just the same word being used to mean two very completely different things sometimes. But when we start changing the definition of what a word is, and half the people think it means one thing and half the people think it means something else, we can't have a conversation about a topic because nobody knows what the hell they're talking about or what they're fighting for, what they're arguing about, because two people could literally be agreeing on a topic but misunderstanding the definition of the word and have an argument about it. So it's stupid. Just pick what words mean. Yeah, they'll change over time, but don't change them every 5 minutes. That's my little rant there about Zero Trust and other InfoSec definitions. They keep changing their definitions. Commodore 64. Legacy gear is less prone to intrusion through many exploits are known. It's an option for those that like to tote museum pieces through life. I don't know anybody who would walk around with a Commodore 64 computer nowadays. I can see people walking around with like a Raspberry Pi laptop. Those things are freaking cool. Way more expensive than the Raspberry Pi itself to add a screen and all that shit, but it's cool that those things exist. I digress. Apple Pay Visa hacked to make payments via locked phones. This one is rather interesting. The attackers would need to set up terminals that emulate a legitimate ticket barrier for transit. This can be done using cheap, commercially available pieces of radio equipment, researchers said. Then they trick the iPhone into believing it's connecting to a legitimate express transit option, so therefore it doesn't need to be unlocked. If a non-standard sequence of bytes, it precedes the standard ISO 14443 wake-up command, and Apple Pay will thus consider to be a valid transaction with a transport EMV reader. In other words, hackers now have the ability, if you have an Apple phone, to skim your credit card from a distance. Fun times we live in. Yep. Yeah. So how do you prevent shit like this? Dean has a good idea. Secure wallet or on magnetic tape. Magnetic tape is not going to prevent a signal from passing, but you are right with the Faraday cage type idea. They do sell wallets like that. The efficacy of some of them is really garbage, though. They're pretty much just tinfoil in a wallet and doesn't do shit. Plus, if your wallet and your phone and your wallet are combined, like a lot of people do, that just complicates the whole process even more. Because how are you going to put your phone in a case that blocks radio signals? Yeah. What's a black pill? Autumn, you know what a black pill? I've heard red pilling before. What the fudge is a black pill? No click exploits they fixed, as in didn't actually.
Black pill means you're doomed. You think everything's going to be like the end of the world's coming type thing.
Oh, yeah. Autumn is like a doomer girl, so yeah, I get that. Okay. Yep, I think that's pretty much everything I want to cover tech-wise for the cast. But if anybody has anything else they would like to talk about, I'm happy to continue talking.
Yeah, I did want to bring something up. Jay Stark was announced dead today. Jay was a guy who designed a very popular and successful 3D gun. It was over in Germany.
Was that the Liberator?
No, not the Liberator. No, hell no. We've come so far since the Liberator. You might want to pull up the story real quick.
What's his name?
Jay Stark. I think it's Jay Stark 1806 was his Twitter handle. But yeah, so he was known to have a weak heart. I guess the German feds came and paid him a little visit, and then he was found dead of a heart attack in his car.
Holy crap! I don't see anything about this. Do you have a link I could put up?
Jay Stark dead, no space, just Jay Stark. The letter J.
J. Oh, no space. I was writing J-A-Y.
Yeah, no.
Man charged with murder in St. Charles shooting at city. No, that's not it. I don't see it yet, dude. I'm probably spelling it wrong or something, but I'm not coming across this.
JSTARK. Hold on. I actually just had it open in another browser. Let me see if I can.
I found it on Hacker News. We're good.
Yeah.
Okay. I was waiting for the page to load before I share out the screen. Okay, got it. It's behind a freaking paywall. I hate paywalls so much with a passion. Uh-huh. Yep. I'm not going to subscribe to a German newspaper I'm never going to look at again. Okay.
I think they list the most recent gun that he was working on. You might want to screen share that just so you get an idea of what a 3D printed gun looks like nowadays, and what they're capable of. You wouldn't believe it.
Aren't they 3D printing AR-15 lowers now?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, 100%.
So, yeah, I can't find shit, man. I should be better at this considering my job, but I switched my search engine default to DuckDuckGo, and for very new news, it does not do quite as good as the Google does.
True.
I found a Twitter post that's been deleted that says Jay Stark potentially dead from 10 hours ago. A Reddit post about that Twitter post. I don't see any actual reputable news source yet on it. Do you have anything you've come across you can send me?
No.
Haran tweeted something about this. Do you know who that is?
Who?
I don't. They're saying Jake Stark is dead. Had to rephrase this. It's come to my attention that a man the police have accused of being Jay Stark, one of the world's most dedicated 3D printer gunsmiths and the main character of the popular Front Plastic Defense documentary, was raided and later died in a car of a heart failure. Apparently, he had a heart defect. Just to be clear, this has nothing to do with me.
I put a link in the private chat.
Thank you. The Signal chat?
Yeah.
Bless your soul.
Oh yeah, I saw this with the new 3D printing gun. It looks really nice.
Jason, can you...
The FGC9 printable firearm.
Jason, I don't have that link you sent. Can you resend it? Just to be clear, it's nothing to do with me. I have not and will not ever
Oh,
burn
I
the
sent it
source.
in the
There
not
several
Signal
online
private. Yeah, I'll send
OPSEC
it.
mistakes made by the accused. Lastly, there are reports that the man accused of being Jay Stark was of Turkish origin. Let me correct that. The man was accused of being Jay Stark was Kurdish, and he was very proud of that. Rest in peace. Live free or fucking die, Jay Stark 2020.
Kurds are awesome.
Heart defect. I still don't see any official news source on this, but there are people talking about it, so it's probably true. Yeah, that's how that works, right? That's all I got. I want to see. Okay, hold on. Let me share. Whoop. Share screen. Share screen 2. There you go. You can see. That's all I could find so far. I haven't done much digging yet. This is the post I came across for the person who asked here and said, I want to see. There you go. He shared the link here. Yes. Yeah, that's me. And a boop. There you go. You guys can take a look at that in your time. Whoop. Go back to this. Whoop. And we're back. Also, I can't find the Python ransomware thing. Here, hold on a second.
Try using the Brave search engine. As if you like DuckDuckGo, try the Brave search engine. It isn't bad, and it can also do look up Google stuff. Also, you can set it to where it'll look up Google stuff as a Google fallback, but anonymously though.
Mm-hmm.
And there's also search, which will do a metadata search of the of DuckDuckGo. That's good. That's good. I like also. Yep, it's not as reliable. It's not. The servers aren't always up. You can run your own though.
You can run your own search engine?
Just on a VPN.
That's interesting.
Or a VPS, I mean.
Never heard of doing that before. It's kind of cool. I just want to find this person who wanted the Python script thing for the servers. Consultant pump. Patchy. Am I looking at the wrong one? Yeah, I'm looking at the wrong one. I'll find it. Just give me a second. Can't find the Python malware thing. Encrypts virtual machines. Here is that link that you were looking for. Here, I popped it in the chat here. Yep. So that's pretty much all I got, dude. I'm done. I got nothing else to talk about, unless you guys want to talk about something. Let's see. Oh, Jason finally sent me a picture. Only took him 9 years. Okay. Yep. That I actually came across myself. Yep. Okay. Yeah. It sucks that this dude passed. I appreciate anybody who gives back to open source communities, regardless of what they're building. You know, it's just cool when people actually take their time and they have something they're passionate about, and then they
in the
contribute
comments
back.
of the articles, they're saying that it was maybe foul play, that the German police actually killed him instead of he died natural cause. That's what they're talking about in the comments.
Yeah, I mean, naturally, I think that speech like that is going to pop up, but then there is always the possibility. Yeah. So I don't know.
Well, the Germans, the German government sucks.
It's just like, okay, they're going to do an autopsy or a coroner report or whatever, and they're just going to be like, yeah, it was a heart attack, and then no one's going to believe it, and then we're just going to be stuck without answers. So
Here, just tell me.
I mean, they have drugs that can induce heart attacks on people, but unless they look for them, they're not going to find them. You know,
whacked. You got to get it spelled right, man. It was whack D. There was no E in there. Yeah, McAfee whacked.
Yeah, no E. Oh yeah, I forgot McAfee died. That was horrible.
It was, man.
I like that guy, even though he was kind of bonkers.
Me a round of drinks, man.
Well, he wasn't really young. He was 74 when he died, so he was.
I know. Well, like that still sucks. He was quite the character.
I think he had some trauma when he was a kid because he had
I hear
some
somebody talking.
real things. But he seemed like an awesome guy. He had I liked his perspective on the world and computers.
I could do an hour on why he's a piece of absolute fucking dog shit.
I bet.
So I am simulcasting on 3 channels for people who are asking, so you might not see something I put in the chat for one. So I am literally just going to send this chat to all destinations right now, so this person can get the link because I don't know whose channel they're watching it on. So maybe they'll get it this way.
Well, you know the demonstration he used to do when he did the antivirus is that there used to be this terminate and stay resident called bugs, and it was basically like a screensaver. Alt D on your DOS machine, and all these little bugs would come and it would eat away your screen, so people couldn't see what you were doing. So if you walked away from your desk or something, or just for fun, but he would show the reporters, "You want to see a virus?" and he'd hit it, and it would go. And they think, "Oh my God, your computer's getting eaten by these bugs, these viruses. Oh no!" And it was so ridiculous. It was a joke.
Yeah, he was preposterous.
Yeah, he was a silly guy, but at the same time, he was quite the character, and a lot of people just loved him for that. You know, regardless of your opinion on his legal troubles, his antics were certainly amusing for a lot of people.
Yeah, but that dude had some serious issues, man. It was sad.
Yeah. Well, I'm dismayed at his. So when I went to this conference right here, SummerCon, I brought a whole bunch of McAfee stickers with me this past year. I brought ones that said "whacked" that my friend Mary had designed, and I brought a bunch of them from her, and I just gave them out there. It was fun to be had, for sure. I think most of them got taken too. Yeah. So. That's all, folks.
All right, good. Let's wrap it up. I had
wrap
fun
this
tonight.
shit up. We got people to do and things to see. All right.
Yeah.
Have
a good day, guys.
Wait.
All right, yeah. Thanks for having me. Bye bye.
Oh,
that's our
bye, lizard.
Bye, guys.